Hey everyone, back to you into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 8 to 10 days in today's video. It takes us up towards the end of February, can you believe? We're getting into the latter stages of the month. Now, of course, a little bit shorter than all the other months. We're going to be finding some quite unsettled weather coming through, I think, for the final sort of week or so of the month. We've got cold air coming out of America, pretty cold air, and that's going to sort of get caught up in the Atlantic flow. Blow up the jet stream a little bit, and I think we're probably looking at some quite severe gales actually at times as we get through towards the start of next week. So quite a bit going on, and we're going to have to watch the pattern quite closely because there is the potential for some pretty stormy winds, I think, next week. Now, if we get on with the video and have a look at all the detail in a moment, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on most pages at gasweathers.com. Have a browse through the widgets, any articles that you're interested in, please click through. And just to say, I'm going to be doing another live broadcast with Quantum on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. So I know a lot of you have been asking when the next live broadcast is going to be. It seems to go down very, very well. It'll only be an occasional thing that we do on Gasweathers because we can't get our schedules together that well. So don't expect this all that often. But yeah, I've got another one coming up on Saturday. So if you're waiting for that, come back on Saturday. It'll be around 7 o'clock in the evening again. So just to have a look at the situation in America, we've got some very cold air here in the east and the northeast of America. Severely cold air coming through the United States and out into the Atlantic this week. As I say, it's going to run across the Atlantic Ocean and will sort of mix up with the warmer temperatures in the central part of the Atlantic and enhance the jet stream, and that's the reason that we're probably looking at some quite stormy conditions potentially over the weekend and particularly through next week. The extent of the cold is very severe across many eastern parts of America. This is the temperature anomaly from the 16th to the 24th of February. And just look how cold it is, off the scale cold really there for many central, northern, eastern parts of America. Over 20 Fahrenheit below average. So really severely cold over a very large area of America. And as I say, it's all going to get mixed up in the Atlantic and enhance the jet stream. So here's the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the ECMWF here on the left. The GFS is over on the right. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. These are for 8-10 days time. So this is taking us up towards, what are we today, with the 16th. So this is taking us up towards the 26th of February. Deep trough of low pressure indicated by these blue colours up to the north of the country on both the ECMWF and the GFS. Very deep trough, of course, digging through the east and the north of the states on both of these models. And then the tight lines coming across the Atlantic indicates that very, very strong jet stream blasting through the central part of the Atlantic. And with a trough of low pressure to the north of the country, the signal is there for some pretty stormy conditions at times. So we could well be seeing gales coming in with this and maybe some bouts of heavy rain as well. And the air, as I say, is quite cold coming out of the Atlantic. It's getting mixed up with milder air, and that's what's enhancing the jet stream. Because the air is so very cold coming out of America, there will be the potential, I think, for some colder incursion, particularly as these low pressures clear to the east and the northeast of the country. I think we have got the potential to get some wintry conditions, potentially in the north of the country mainly. So you can see from the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles that we're going to be up and down with the temperatures. Really, this is a classic zonal sine wave. We've got warm and colder sort of sectors coming through at times. It'll be on the back side of these low pressures that we bring these colder sectors through. And as I say, because the air out of America is so cold, those colder sectors could be colder than you would normally expect them to be. But anyway, we've got up and down temperatures as these these low pressure systems come through, averaging it all out. We probably come out about average. Normally in a zonal sine wave we would tend to be a little bit above average, but I think the colder incursions are going to be colder than they would normally be. So in the end we probably come out near normal, and a lot of precipitation spikes coming through as well. The signal for that very dry weather through February, because it has been very dry, but the signal for that is certainly going, and a significant change in the pattern is quite clearly coming through, with lots of precipitation spikes going through to the end of February. This is the 1st of March. Just here you see plenty of rainfall going to be on the way. So a pretty wet, pretty stormy, and at times quite cold pattern seems to be setting up. The temperature anomaly from the 16th to the 24th is coming out around average. Nothing particularly exciting there. And the rainfall anomaly is going a bit above average. This has consistently been showing drier than average conditions through most of February, but again, just indicative of that change coming up over the next week to 10 days. It will be going a bit above average with the rainfall. So this is the reason why it's turning stormy, this very steep temperature gradient in the Atlantic. This is the GFS chart, upper air temperature chart for Friday, 20th of February. You can see there is this big temperature gradient here around Newfoundland, with severe cold air to the north and quite mild Atlantic air to the south. And as these air masses mix up, they produce these areas of low pressure, and that provides the energy essentially for the areas of low pressure. And with such a steep gradient, the energy provided is pretty intense indeed, and that can provide those big storm systems. So here we are on Saturday. We're going to have low pressure clearing away. It's already wet today. It's going to turn a bit drier over the next day or two in the south, but this is really, today is really the start of the change to more unsettled conditions. There'll be more heavy rain on Friday, and that low pressure clears out of the way on Saturday, and then we're opening the door to that temperature gradient in the Atlantic to produce these deep areas of low pressure. So as we go through to Sunday, very deep storm setting up around Iceland there at 950 millibars. I'll be bringing gale force winds across many parts of the country late Sunday, and bands of heavy rain as well. Go through into Monday, very stormy day potentially for Scotland, parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England as well. It's all a little way off, so the detail is subject to change, but certainly the signal there for quite a lot of stormy weather to start of next week. The isobars come from quite a cold region in the Atlantic as well, so after we get that rain out of the way on Sunday, it turns colder and shall probably turn to snow over the north and the west of the country. We go through into Tuesday, and we find that first storm system moving into Scandinavia, and look at this, another storm system is developing to the south of Greenland, and that becomes quite an intense feature running in through the middle of next week. Again, 950 millibars around Iceland, so the potential will be there for severe gales. This just keeps the worst a bit to the north, but don't rely on that. It could be quite stormy again through the middle part of next week, and it just carries on really up to the end of the month. Stays very unsettled with bands of rain coming through, and all the time these low pressures clear through, we'll be bringing cold air in from the northern part of the Atlantic, so there will be some wintry potential to come through. Temperatures up and down, sometimes a little bit milder than average, sometimes colder than average, and the overall trend, perhaps as we get through to the very end of the month, could be turning a bit colder. Getting through to the EWF, and again very stormy to start next week. Deep low pressure systems of north of Scotland, bringing gale force winds and bouts of heavy rain across the country. Quite a cold day as we go through into Tuesday, with snow showers in the north and severe gales up there as well. Being through to the middle part of next week, another area of low pressure is developing around Iceland. That looks quite significant. Again, potentially for the north of the country, you have a risk of severe gales on several occasions from the weekend and into next week. Less windy, less bad in the south because we're closer to this Azores High, but all areas will be turning unsettled. And this is the day 10 chart for Thursday the 26th, with this deep storm to the north of Scotland. And the GM rounds it all off, very similar from the Canadian model. Severe gales to start next week with bouts of heavy rain, quite cold as well, and another very intense storm system there on Wednesday, bringing more gales across particularly the north of the country. Get through to day 10, and we're still in that unsettled flow, and this low pressure here, it'll probably be removed on the later GM runs, but if that came off it would be concerning, because that's a little bit of a bomb and it's heading directly for us. So if you go on 24 hours from that, that will be very nasty, but that's subject to change. The overall theme of the update is that we're changing the weather pattern. We had a lot of dry weather through February. But the cold conditions in America are going to have their say, and they're going to change the pattern, mixing with warmer air in the Atlantic to produce a much more unsettled and potentially at times quite stormy pattern for the final week or so of the month. So all changed with the weather. I'll be keeping you updated over the next few days. But that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.